Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Detroit Den. Steve and Will. Well, if you see us, we're talking some Detroit Lions football, and you never know what we're going to be talking. We could be talking free agency. We could be talking the draft. Maybe we're talking a trade rumor or some breaking news. You don't know. But if you want to know, and if you want to know for a long period of time, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Anytime we post, you'll get notified. Well, you know what I do? Sometimes I scroll through Twitter.
Yep.
I stumble across some stuff, some rumors, some allegations. I saw something yesterday. I'm just going to share it. I'm just going to share the picture. Pro Football Focus put this out on their website last night. Khalil Mack to the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions receiving a beast of a pass rusher, Khalil Mack. And all we would have to give up is a 2025 fourth round pick in next year's draft. How do you feel?
What did I say? Khalil Mack going to the senior home in Detroit?
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Oh,
boy.
What are we,
right
what
out
are
the gates.
What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? Listen, Khalil Mack's a beast, man. Like, if we were trading for him, and I don't know what his contract says, I would have to look at his contract. But if it was a fourth rounder for Khalil Mack, I mean, of course you probably do it if the money
seems too good to be true, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just seems a little bit off the wall a little bit. But so I'm gonna keep it realistic. Like, even can we at least say a third rounder? So would you do a third rounder for Khalil Mack?
Here's the thing. I got his contract right here. $23 million a year.
Yeah. How long is he under contract?
It says 6 years. I don't know when he's a free agent after 2025. So we'd have him for 2 years. If that changes your mind at all, $23 million, 5-year or 2-year deal. That's kind of your range for a guy of his age. And I see the age. He's going to be 33 next week.
Yeah.
But I can't ignore the fact that he had 17 sacks. So, yeah, of course there's going to be a drop-off. He's getting a little older. There's going to be a drop-off. But how big of a drop-off are we going to have from 17 sacks? Does that go down to 13, which is still really good? Does it go down to 12, 11, 10? Those are still numbers. I'm willing to give up a fourth-round pick for 12 sacks a year. I just think, yeah, there's going to be a drop-off, but it's not going to be that bad.
As I look at his stuff, though, 17 sacks was an anomaly, man. Like the year before that, he had 8. Then we're looking at 6, 9, 8.5, 12. And then we're getting back to his younger days where it was 10, 11, 15, right? So, listen, a hot take. I would rather pour out my coffee, fill this thing up with bleach and drink it.
Oh, boy.
Then sign Khalil Mack and pay him $20 million. Like, no. If I'm going to spend $23 million, I'm going to get Danielle Hunter, Brian Burns, Josh Allen. Like, it's a no. No. And then he still got all of that bear juice on him too. I know he's the Chargers now, but I can't have it.
I'm with you on who I would rather give that money to. But when I look at Khalil, like, okay, if you want to talk about some of his bad years, the 2020 Bears and the 2021 Bears were not good.
Yeah.
They were not a good team.
Yeah.
I don't know how he only had 9 sacks, 6 sacks, 8 sacks. And then, yeah, he busted out last year with 17 for the Chargers, who the Chargers have a loaded defense. They just don't know what they're doing half the time. And they're completely refurbishing that coaching staff. I don't know why they want to let him out the door. I don't know what's going on out in LA. Not my problem. I see a rumor like this. I don't know. It kind of piques my interest.
My interests are not piqued. My interests are, I mean, you gotta wonder, like, that. But it's not piqued. It's kind of like, I wonder what's going on over there. Do they know something that we don't know? Is he a little bit banged up? He's still playing alongside Bosa. Like, let's not forget about that. I understand that that's what he would be doing here as well, playing alongside Aidan Hutchinson, who's better. But anyways, you know what I mean? Hey, I'm always I'm gonna rock with my guy, man. I'm gonna rock with my guy because our guy is doing this.
Yeah, he's on the incline, and Khalil Mack's on the downslope. I get it.
You know what I mean? So, hey, man, listen. Bottom line is this: I don't want to pay him $20 million, and I darn sure don't want to pay him over $20 million, even if it's only for 2 seasons. So I'm still looking at the Danielle Hunters, Josh Allen's, Brian Burns of the world. Because I don't know. But again, if it happened, especially for a 4th round pick or a 3rd round, I don't even know that I would want, because when we're doing these mock drafts, we're talking about guys that we could get in the 3rd round. I don't know that I want him over those guys, and I know that he's going to be better than those guys next season. But the trajectory that some of those guys could go on, I don't know. They'd be free. They'd be cost $2.
Let me ask you a question.
Talk to me.
Does Khalil Mack play the same position as James Houston?
I'm glad you asked this question, and you know what I'm sick of.
You might think you know what I'm trying to do here, but
you know what I'm sick of. I'm sick of this. You trying to get me riled up? I'm not going to give you what you want. I'm not.
No, I'm gonna just trust me. Does he play the same position? Like, if you took James Houston off the field, are you replacing him with Khalil Mack?
Yes.
Okay. You saw what James Houston did in year 1 as a rookie with 8 sacks in 8-9 games.
Yes.
If you put Khalil Mack on this defense, I think we get the same type of production. I think our defense could be elite if we make the right moves. If we get a Khalil Mack, if we go out and I think signing all those guys we mentioned is probably off the table. If you're giving him $23 million, you're closing the door on all that. Maybe you go to the dollar store like we talked about earlier and you get a cheaper corner. You go that route, but you get a Khalil Mack. You address some needs in the draft. We don't know what that'll be. This isn't a draft show. You take Khalil Mack and put him in James Houston's role. And I saw James Houston thrive, and I'm not huge on James Houston just like you are. But I think you take Khalil Mack and you double those numbers. You get at least 18 sacks.
18?
16 to 18, yes.
I don't know about that many, but I think you see 10 sacks from him probably. And sacks are hard to predict anyways, but I think you see a whole lot of pressure from him. I'll say that. So I agree with you. But they're apples to oranges. Khalil Mack can do so much more than James Houston. It's not even in the same ballpark. But
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but James Houston also costs, hold on, I got his contract right here.
$17.
Here's his contract.
What dollar?
So I mean, like that 20 mil ticket, man, that's a tough ass. But I'll be the same guy completely turning face if he ends up in a Lions jersey. I'll be cheering him on like nobody's business. But
I get it. I'm not huge on James Houston either, but let's look back at that San Francisco game. That's the game that ended our season.
Yeah.
Would Khalil Mack have possibly been a difference in that second half? Because James Houston wasn't a factor.
So if you're asking me if Khalil Mack makes 1 or 2 plays that to seal that game, just gets a sack at a opportune time, just holds the pocket and don't let Purdy get out, and maybe he throws a bad ball, throws an interception or something like that. Yeah, I think Khalil Mack is that type of difference maker to where he would have made a play that would have been definitely impactful.
So $23 million sounds like it's worth the trip to a Super Bowl, doesn't it?
It does sound like it's worth a trip to a Super Bowl, but we still got to get through that whole season. And what does that look like, when you're way older than Hendon Hooker, who you said is already in the senior home? That body's been battered and abused. What do we do in the NFC North? We run the rock. So he's spent a long time in there. He's out there, with the Chargers on vacation playing on the other side of Bosa, and they're airing it out. And all, he's just been kicking back a little bit. He's got to come back and get in the trenches.
He's played 17 games the last 2 years.
Oh, I'm not saying that he's not going to be out there, but I'm saying that, listen, Father Time is undefeated. That body is bruised and battered.
Yeah, I mean, 17 sacks. Like I said, how big of a drop off would we see in 2 years? 17 to 15 sacks? I'd still take that.
No, I think you'd probably see 8 to 10 sacks, being honest. But
so he'd be second on my team in sacks.
It'd be at the end of the day. Will his body continue to hold up for a full season? What's his motor like? What type? I don't know what type of guy he is, to be honest. I know he was just fierce when he was in Chicago, but I don't know what his locker room, culture. I haven't dug into that. The thought of it is exciting. The price tag is not exciting. And when you're telling me I could either go get a 33-year-old that's going to turn 34, or I can go get a 25-year-old.
He's 32, turning 33.
Okay, so turning 33, right? At 33 and 34, that's when you kind of You're hanging on. You're hanging on to that good play. And then 35, 34, 36, that area is or your body just says no at some point. We got to put you on management, snap management and all of that. Or I could just go get a 25-year-old and just say, hey man, just go out there and have fun. I don't care how many snaps you play. We're not counting those. You just play. Do what you do.
I'm with you on where I would like to rather allocate that money. If I had $23 million to go sign a pass rusher, I'm calling up Brian Burns. Younger, I'm going to get way more years out of you. You're still maybe not even coming into your prime. You might just be knocking on the door of your prime at what, 20, 25? Is that how old Brian Burns is? Something like that, 25, 26. I would rather give him the money, but I look at Khalil Mack and over the past, he's been in the league since 2014. I think when you break down the best pass rushers in the league since 2014, you got to mention his name.
Oh, without a doubt.
You got to mention his name. 17 sacks last year, and yeah, they had a good defense. I think the Lions are going to have a good defense. I think they're trending upward. I think what I see with James Houston and what he did on this team 2 years ago, and our defense has gotten better since then. I see Khalil Mack could be a force, but the only thing that would stop me is at $23 million. If we could renegotiate or restructure that deal somehow, I'm all in. I only need him for 2 years, Will. I don't need him past. He'll be 33. I don't need him after 2 years when his contract's up. I'm pretty much getting a player for a 2-year rental for a 4th-round pick. Maybe I get that $23 million down to like 18 if I can get the Chargers to take some of that cap space. It would have to be a couple things that have to happen, but I would say yes. And I don't usually say yes to trades because I don't want to give up capital. But a 4th-round pick next year, I'll walk it to Los Angeles myself.
Yeah, if you're telling me that I could get him for a 4th-round pick, I just don't feel like that's realistic. I would do it.
It's probably not. I agree with you there too.
But I don't want to pay that $20 million. But if we're being honest, if you said I was paying a $20 million and then I had him on the rental until 2025, and then it was like we had the option to see what we wanted to do, I would do it. I wouldn't be happy about it though. I would just be, that's a good move. I wouldn't be running around and throwing a party.
And another thing, I will say this. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Khalil Mack had 6 sacks in one game, if I'm not mistaken. So if you take that one game away, you're really at 11 sacks. But 17 is still 17. He still got it at the end of the day. But yeah. I can't remember who that game was against. Let's see if I could find it real quick. But
I can't remember either. But I will say, while you're looking that up, it's kind of similar to Aidan's season. If Aidan would have continued on the trajectory that he was on for the full season, then we would have been looking at a 3, 4, 5 sack guy. You know, I mean, he got hot at the end of the seasons. So that's the biggest thing for me too, man. I would have to do a little bit more digging into the pressures. Is he getting consistent pressure? How is he, in the run game? How many snaps is he playing? Is he a rusher right now out there? Those are all things that I don't know, being honest. I'd have to dig more into. Are we going to have to supplement him with, the Kaminsky's and the Pascals, which we could. We got anchors. We don't have rushers. So if we keep, guys around like your Campfire Kaminsky guy and Pascal
Kaminsky, I like that name.
So if we keep them around, man, they're stout in the run game, and nobody's gonna be able to tell me different. But they, like you say all the time, they're not gonna rush anybody's passer. So if he could come in, we maybe could even get him and put him on a snap count, which should ultimately give him a little bit more longevity. But $20 million, that's tough, man.
It's a heavy price tag. But you can't put a price tag on a Super Bowl.
That's true.
Yeah, I see it right here. Khalil Mack had 6 sacks on October 1st against the Chargers. So, I mean, yeah, he had 17, but if you take away that game, it's 11. But at the end of the day, he still got 17. But let me ask you this. This is my last question.
The Commanders?
What's that?
You said he had 6 against the Chargers.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was the Raiders.
Okay.
He was playing for the Chargers, Raiders.
Gotcha.
Let me ask you this. We talk all the time about how, what do other teams have to game plan for defensively against the Detroit Lions? It's Aidan Hutchinson.
Yeah.
You put his picture on the slideshow. You say, this is the guy we got to watch out for. If we sign or trade for Khalil Mack, now you have 2 guys that you must account for. One of the best sack artists arguably of all time. He's getting up there. He's getting up there in sacks. His totals are getting up there. I think Khalil Mack's still one of the top in the game. You put him on this team, you have two guys to game plan for, plus whoever you go out and draft. I think he immediately just makes our team better.
I think he would make our defense better, but what wouldn't make our defense better at this point?
John Kaminsky.
I think I'm not even going to say anything crazy because I was about to say something real crazy.
Say it.
I was just going to say I might take Kaminsky playing corner over Kendall Vildor if I'm really talking.
I'm at least giving him a look.
You got to give him a look, Greg.
Give him some reps. Let's see what we got here. I mean, can Kaminsky catch a ball? Because I watched Kendall Vildor try to catch a ball like Hot Hands Heenan from the Little Giants, catch it through his face mask, and Brandon Ayuk comes down with the pass. So I don't know. I think Kaminsky at least knocks that ball down at the very worst. So guys, that's it for today. We're talking Khalil Mack. I showed you the trade from PFF. I'll put it up one more time. We didn't come up with this. Khalil Mack to the Detroit Lions for a 2025 4th-round pick. Doesn't seem realistic. I don't see the Chargers taking a 4th-round pick, but leave it in the comments. Let us know how you feel. Hit that like button. If you're new to this channel, subscribe, guys, and we will be back later with some more content.
Peace.